Saving America one entrepreneur at a time, it's the Biz Wrap Podcast with your host, Michael Manahan. The show that celebrates small business and entrepreneurs, it's Biz Wrap Radio with your host, small businessman, educator, and author, Michael Manahan. And welcome to another edition of Biz Wrap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan, and thank you so much for joining me this week. I got a great show lined up for you. If you've not listened to us before, this is the show all about small business and entrepreneurs. We're here fighting for you, the small business people of America, the people that make everything happen. No, you're misinformed if you think it's the government and those fat cats on Wall Street who drive the economy. It's not them at all. It's the small business people, the entrepreneurs. It's the dry cleaner in your neighborhood. It's the local restaurants. It's the local construction company. These are the real drivers of the American economy. These are the people who provide most of the jobs in our country. Did you know most people in America actually work for a small business? And yet what happens? The economy's in trouble, so what's the government going to do? Bail out the fat cats on Wall Street. Yeah, pay some billion-dollar bonuses to the guys who are already making tens of millions of dollars on Wall Street, and let all the little small businesses across the country go out of business. Now, tell me, what sense does that make? But, we've got a resurgence going on in this country. There are people who understand that it is the small business people driving the economy. I'm so pleased to see, as I travel around the country and talk to different people, entrepreneurship being embraced. The universities now are all teaching entrepreneurship. It's a focus. Students are going into university and they're telling them, hey, you don't have to come out and go work for some big corporation like Citibank or General Motors. You can actually be your own business person. You can be the master of your own destiny. And when you think about it, that's how our company started. Those people who came here from other countries, over hundreds of years, they were small business people. They started a farm. They started a ranch. They started a livery stable. They started a blacksmith shop. They were entrepreneurs, and it wasn't until the Industrial Revolution that kind of the economy was taken over by larger business enterprises, and then the government started to grow like crazy in the last 100 years, and now there's this perverted belief that it's the government and these big businesses that make everything happen, but it isn't. Small businesses are here. They're here to stay. We're taking back the economy, and I'm here fighting for you, the small business people of America. On with our show, I am so happy today to have Lauren Powers on the line with me. Lauren is an 8-time heavyweight bodybuilding champion. She's an author, founder of the Lauren Powers Classic. She is a respected fitness competition in Southern California that rewards success based on merit, not economics. She's a teacher, a mentor, an advocate for individual achievement and excellence. Lauren, you've done so much, but welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Mike. Happy to be here. I love what you stand for. This is my first introduction to what your mission is, and I think it's amazing to reward entrepreneurs and really celebrate, people that step out of the box and do their own thing and stay away from the corporate nightmare and make things happen.
Yeah, and it really
I've been doing that since I've been 16 years of age.
Well,
so
it
I
sounds
know all about it.
Sounds like it, and we want to hear all about it. So, I mean, obviously we think of bodybuilders. I mean, the first image that comes to mind is the male bodybuilders. Arnold Schwarzenegger, or whatever the heck his name is. The Austrian. That's kind of what we think of. But female bodybuilding is a big business, isn't it?
It is and it isn't, to be honest with you. It's never been equal to the males. Arnold is our role model in the industry, and he's, came here to speak English, and he's really made something for himself. I mean, he went into politics, obviously, into the movies, and became quite famous and runs one of the largest fitness classics in the world, the International Sports Festival, hosted by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm kind of following his footsteps and being the female Arnold, if you will, and using bodybuilding as a tool and
I got to interrupt.
launch.
I got to interrupt you because when you say you're going to follow in his footsteps, you're not going to run for governor, are you?
No, I think everything but that.
Okay. And what about sex with the maid? Are you going to have sex with the maid?
No, I haven't gone that route either.
Okay, that's
but
good
as
news.
far as the success and entrepreneur part of it, let's stick to that side. As far as starting my own classics, I do a lot of mainstream media now. I'm probably they call me the most publicized and PR'd female bodybuilder in the world, not just here in the country, but in the world, because of the opportunities I've had and going out and seeking, outside of the box, if you will, just of fitness. I just had the opportunity to be on iHeartRadio with some pop stars from Iggy Azalea to Jennifer Hudson, Nick Jonas. It was amazing. I got to open the show. I did some music video with Lady Gaga. I mean, these are things that are completely out of our industry that most athletes don't get the opportunity to. So I'm showing other females especially that they can go for it if they want to. You don't just have to be on stage to win a trophy, which I also promote shows as well, which we'll get to that. But I've done so many things in my life since I was 16, still in high school, jumped on, picked up a skateboard within 2 weeks, turned professional, went on a world tour as a superstar skateboarder, was on the Pepsi skateboard team. Then I moved to Hawaii. I started my own surfing school. I like to surf, so I decided, well, let's make a living at it. So I started teaching. These are things at a very young age. I just figured ways out my entire life on how to do what you love and make an income as well. And I'm still doing it today. So it's been kind of a pattern of mine. I've been exposed to many things, but as an entrepreneur, there's so many opportunities out there for men and women alike to create their own income through their own passion, and I just really support that.
Well, I want to talk how that actually occurs, because clearly there are many, many famous athletes in this world. There are, professional sports people. We watch the Olympics every year. We watch some of these athletes, like these swimmers and other people, and some of them, they win their gold medal, and maybe they come back to the Olympics another time and another gold medal, but they just seem to fade into the woodwork. Some of them get some sponsorships, and maybe they do commercials for some sports equipment for a couple of years, and then they fade into the woodwork. But others seem to be able to capture that momentum that they had when they, became an athlete of high stature. And to actually turn that into a business and continue to work in their business, literally for the rest of their lives. What's the difference? What's the difference between you and somebody else who won a trophy as a female bodybuilder and is never to be seen again?
That happens all the time, Mike, in my industry. These, especially the gals, they get up there, they win their pro card, if you will, and the trophy, and then you never, ever see them again. One, it's very difficult to maintain the physique that's required these days. But two, there's just not that much out there unless you are an entrepreneur, unless you know how to market yourself. Social media has changed and opened many, many doors for men and women in my industry to, explore beyond just competition. So that's helped. But most people, they just, they know how to work out, but they don't know the business side of it. Whereas myself, I figured out the business first, and I used my body as the vehicle to make a living. So I've kind of switched things around, and you know what I'm saying, and making it a business. And I'm still doing it today. I didn't get washed up. I've won many titles and trophies through the years. I came at the age of 40 and won the famous Muscle Beach down in Venice, California. Won the overall title at 40, and then a decade later, I came back to win the exact same title.
Wow!
At 50, that was pretty nice accomplishment. I'm very proud of that because I didn't get washed up. You know what I mean? A whole decade later, I'm still winning awards. But in the meantime, like I said, I stepped out of the box. Done a lot of mainstream, more media, commercials, film, TV. These opportunities. One, I live close to Hollywood, so that helps, But two, I really like the promotion side of it and making a living looking the way I do. and it's not always been easy. I believe you know that I'm currently in the middle of publishing my book called Beneath the Muscle, and explains my path and my journey and some of these, the hardships that it takes to be a little bit different.
Okay, Lauren, we're going to have to go to commercial break, so I want to talk about that book right after we go to
yes,
commercials.
Absolutely.
We are talking to Lauren Powers, 8-time heavyweight bodybuilding champion, author, entrepreneur, and we're going to talk about her book right after we come back from these commercials. It's Biz Rap Radio. Your host, Mike Manahan. Stick with us. And welcome back to Biz Rap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan, and thank you for sticking with us. If you've just joined us, we are, of course, the show all about small business and entrepreneurs, and I'm very lucky to have on the line with me Lauren Powers, who's an 8-time heavyweight bodybuilding champion. She's an author, an entrepreneur, founder of the Lauren Powers Classic. Lauren, thanks for sticking with us.
Absolutely, Mike. Actually, as you said, 8-time. I actually have now 10 times.
Oh, wow. So my information is out of date. Well, congratulations. and I was absolutely...
I keep going. I just keep going. You never quit at these things.
I was astounded when you said that you were actually in your 50s and you're still doing this bodybuilding stuff?
That's right, Mike. They call it Fabulous Fit Over 50.
Wonderful. That you're
standing for a role model that it's never too late to look great from the inside out. And I discuss my journey and, how I keep doing it, what keeps me motivated, keeps me driven to get up and still maintain the physique at my age than most gals don't. It's not easy, but it's rewarding. It's what I do. It's what I stand for, and mainly to promote health and wellness. That's my biggest mission now, and that's why I started the Fitness Classic Tour that I've been doing. I've got 6 events this year. I can go into that a little bit, but it's pretty crazy.
Well, let's get some
I just don't stop, Mike. I don't stop. I don't know how.
Well, let's get some information out there for the listening audience, and then I want to talk about your book. But if somebody's interested in finding more out about you, what you do, and what you offer, where can they go to find out information on you?
Yeah, I'm all over social media, but my main website is laurenpowers.com. Pretty simple. I've got registration for the fitness events right there on the front page. I have Facebook, of course, which is under Lauren Powers. I have a verified public image page under Lauren Powers as well. If they can like that, that would be great. Twitter is Lauren Powers, and, of course, Instagram is Lauren Powers 10, Lauren Powers 10. So we're working on all of that to get it all up to speed. It's just crazy. It's a lot of work, but, social media seems to be taking over our way of promotions, and with so many things that I do, from the fitness event tours and a lot of TV and commercials and radio, and I'll be on a couple of shows on E! Network next week, actually, that'll be airing. Very excited to announce that with RuPaul and Dr. Terry DeBro, a new show called Good Work, and I'm also featured on a popular show this season called Botched with the plastic surgeons. I was lucky enough to be selected for being a patient, and the little tweaks here and there.
Well, we all need those. Well,
it's fabulous. Talk about, opportunities are great. I just think it's staying persistent, true to yourself, follow your purpose, have passion for whatever you do. Mine just happens to be in the fitness industry, but it doesn't matter what it is. I have many, many friends that are entrepreneurs. It seems to be all the type of people that I hang out with. Direct marketing has always been very successful. I've been approached by every company there is. I'm in a few that I'll be launching as well. Some nutrition lines, Zerbeo. I'll be really heavily involved with that because it's a vegan, organic line of fitness products, as well as the Nerium for the face cream, and another one it's a body sculpting wrap that I just got involved with. Things that I believe in. So I think the key is
what would you okay, you're talking about everything you're doing, but what advice would you give somebody? I'm sure there's somebody listening to us right now. Maybe they're not at your stature in terms of what you've achieved in bodybuilding, but maybe they're very good at something. Maybe it's an athletic endeavor, maybe it's a music. How do you turn, and we can tell just from listening to you that you have a passion for what you are doing. But how do you turn a passion into a business? What is step number one? What would you recommend people do today or tomorrow if they have got a passion, if they're passionate about something, to turn that something into a business?
Well, I think it's just being out there and staying focused and driven. And it's not always easy, especially being an entrepreneur, because no one is paying your bills but you. Like if I don't get up and make things happen on a daily basis, it doesn't get done, and I don't get paid. So I've learned early on that to really get up and get going, you just put one foot in front of the other, ask a lot of questions, hang out with people that are in your industry, whatever it may be, whether, like you said, if it's acting, music, fitness, whatever it may be, go for the winners. I mean, there's no secrets to this. I mean, any self-help book or any of these, public speakers, you can hear the same thing. Follow your dream, follow your passion, but select people and learn from them, emulate them, ask questions, put yourself out there, take risk. That's the biggest key for me. I'm always out there, and I don't live in my comfort zone. I completely live on the edge. I always have, and it's not always easy. Believe me, it's not easy being out on the chopping block all the time. I mean, I walk around, and people everywhere I go, people want to stop and look at me and talk to me or stare at me, and sometimes it's positive. Well, most times it's positive, but not always. So I have to deal with that on a daily basis, just being different. Mm-hmm. And I celebrate it instead of letting people take me down because they want to bring me to their level. Is I let that energy fuel me to even be more successful and more driven. And the more somebody tells me that, oh, you can't do this or that, that's you guarantee I'm going to do it. So, I just always been that way. And again, it's not easy, but it's just staying true to yourself and really staying focused and not letting negative energy or negative people or comments, especially with the social media. There's a lot of cruel people out there that are envious, and that's how I look at it. They're haters, if you will. It's very common now, especially with successful people. And if you're not strong enough and thick-skinned, that can affect you. So my advice is don't let any of the people stop you. Don't let anyone get in your way of your dream, no matter what it is. And that is, to me, the biggest key to success.
Now, what about your family? Your parents? Do you have siblings? And
I'm an only child, Mike, but my mother and dad are very supportive of me. Okay. I've always mm-hmm. been highly, highly driven, no matter what it is, and I've been in sales forever. I always rise to the top and become, the best of whatever it is I'm doing. I always have to be the overachiever, and where that comes from, I'm still figuring that part out. But I like to win, and I like to be successful, and I like to be a champion, and I'm in it to win it, no matter what it is. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I like to be the best at it. That's crazy. Not everybody has that deep, deep desire, but that's okay. You know what I mean? I just use it to my advantage. But hang out with supportive people as well. Like, the friends and the peer groups I hang out with are very supportive of what I do. And there's been a lot of people that have been jealous and envious along the way of my success and try to take me down here and there. And that's okay. I just, wish them well, and I just keep going.
Right.
And that's what I think everybody has to do. And if you can learn to do that, mm-hmm. then you will rise to the top. Yeah, if you don't let anybody stand in your way, you're going to be a winner.
Yeah, that's good advice. And I talk to entrepreneurs, or I'll call them maybe would-be entrepreneurs, people who'd like to be entrepreneurs. And a lot of people get a lot of negativity from friends, from family. It's almost like, well, you're not deserving of being an entrepreneur. Why don't you just go get a real job type of thing? And I think that's so sad because, your biggest supporters should be those people close to you. They should be excited and enthused about the fact that you're going out there and trying to make your dreams come true. I just don't understand why people would be negative. And I was having dinner with a gentleman actually last evening, and he's a younger guy, and he said, Mike, he said one of the big problems with some of the younger generation is they understand they can achieve anything they want, but they've never been taught that in order to achieve anything you want, you've got to work your ass off to get it.
That's right. There's always a catch. Yeah. That seems to be it. Oh, yeah, I work harder than anybody I know without having a job. I mean, seriously, I have the luxury of every day creating what I want to do every single day, whether I want to go take yoga, I want to go, work out, I want to go to the chiropractor, whatever it is I do on a daily basis. That's my choice every single day. But I work so hard, and I never seem to have enough hours in the day to do what I want to do, to get done, because it's endless. It's like you never catch up. And that's what you have to understand. And you can't let those people bring you down. And it's very, very common because people tend to be lazy and they're followers. And that's okay for them. I mean, you know what I mean? So I honor those types of people. The people that are go-getters are rare. It's not easy. Especially if you don't have a support team and you got to create things on your own with nobody pushing you, that's a little rough. So again, it's not easy, but if you do have the deep desire and the passion, you can do it. People are doing it every day. Look around, look at the winners, seek what they're doing, get their advice. Listen to your radio show. You seem to have a lot of really nice topics and cool people on there that can help.
Right. Lauren, we're going to have to go to commercial break again. We're coming up to the end of this segment. I've got Lauren Powers, 10-time heavyweight bodybuilding champion, author, entrepreneur. And this, of course, is Biz Rap Radio. Your host, Mike Manahan. We will be back right after these messages. And welcome back to Biz Rap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan. Again, thank you for sticking with us. If you've been listening since the top of the hour, if you have not, we are online here with Lauren Powers. She's an 8-time I should say 10-time. I keep making that mistake. She corrected me. She's a 10-time heavyweight bodybuilding champion. She's an author, entrepreneur. More energy than the next 10 people you'll ever meet. Lauren, thanks for sticking with us.
Yes, I'm really happy to be here, Mike. And if anybody can get some positive advice of anything that I have to say or through my experiences, then it's a win-win. And that's how I look at everything I do in my life. If I affect a couple people in a positive way, then that's all I can do every single day. Do your best, and it doesn't matter what it is. So I stand wholeheartedly behind my message.
Okay, so let's just give out your website once again. It's laurenpowers.com. Go to laurenpowers.com. You can find out more information about this remarkable lady and her fitness competitions and everything she's doing. But you've got a new book out, Beneath the Muscle: Unleashing Your Inner Champion. Tell us a little bit about that book, because I just love the second part of that, which is Unleashing Your Inner Champion. What messages are people going to get from your book?
Well, it's kind of like it's a positive self-help book through my personal experiences. There's a lot of stories that I've been through over the years, overcoming obstacles, turning them into triumphs, not letting people stop me, all these kind of things that seem to be rampant throughout just people in general. So through my experiences, living outside the box, being the underdog, people not saying you can't do this or that, and turning that around, using it to fuel you, promote yourself, and just staying driven and positive and having passion. It talks about all these things and kind of how to do it. And I think people can relate to it just through my story. It's a little bit different. I've living again outside the box, walking around. I look like Barbie with 15-inch biceps. You don't see that every day. So, I get the general public, making fun of me or this or that, and I'm on TV and do a lot of public things, which gives the general public more ammunition to strike out at me. But again, I like it. I bring it on. The more haters I have, the more followers and positive people I have, because it's a balance.
Right.
So, yeah, and it's just sticking true to yourself. And it's not for everybody, and I like being different. I wake up every day trying to be different from the norm. I set my own pace. I have since I was a child, and living this different extreme lifestyle and using it to my advantage to be an entrepreneur and be successful at it. And I've been a competitor for many years, as you mentioned, and won some shows along the way. But now I'm all for the athlete. I like to give back. The Lauren Powers Classics are, the tagline is the show that gives back, because I know what it's like to be through the process. And it's not easy to look that way and get on stage and, in front of all your friends and family and pose and do all what it takes. So created this whole different style of competition that is for the athlete. It's not just about monetary or politics. People are actually judged on their physique, the way they look, and their attitude. And I'm honor transitions, people that may have, they're not body perfect, but they've lost a lot of weight, they love to work out, they're promoting health and fitness. And so it's a different type of fitness competition that's fun. I encourage a good time. I'm letting friends and family come on in and for free and celebrate the transition for their athletes. And it's just taking off. I've set a fitness tour this year. I have 6 events. The next one's coming up May 17th in Corona. It's at a concert hall, a very upscale venue, and real nice with sponsors and vendors and Fit Expo and a fashion show and trophies and awards and prizes and all kinds of stuff. So I encourage people to come out. If they're into health and wellness, they can join my fitness tour. There's all the way through December. And it's all that information is online and on Facebook.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, again, you can go to laurenpowers.com, find out more information. But I want to just kind of wrap up here, last few minutes we've got together,
Sure.
with what I call lessons. When I talk to people, I tend to make notes when I'm talking to people. I hope people who listen to our show take notes if you can, unless, of course, you're driving down the freeway right now. But, I like to take notes, and I like to do what I call lessons I've learned. What did these people teach me? And hopefully by discussing some of the lessons I'm learning from you right now, we can help listeners to my show in achieving what they want to achieve in their business and in their business lives. And so just a few of the things that I'm learning from you. One is you need to have passion. You're not going to achieve what you want to achieve if you're not passionate about it. If you're not really, really excited and enthused about what you're doing, then probably it's not going to work. Would you agree with me, Lauren?
Absolutely. That's the key right there. I mean, if you don't like what you're doing, you're not going to want to necessarily do it every day. To me, I'm mundane. I don't like to do anything I don't want to do. But that's to me, that's financial success, when I can get up and just only do what I want to do that makes me happy. And then hopefully everybody else, benefits from that.
Right.
And so far it's working.
Well, that's great. Now, another lesson I think I've learned from you today is that as business people and entrepreneurs, we can face negativity from time to time. It can come from family, it can come from friends, or people who don't even know us and we're just jealous of what we're trying to do. But you've got to overcome that. You can't let that negativity squelch your enthusiasm for your project and what you're trying to accomplish.
Big lesson, Mike, and I think that's the biggest for me, because I'm so different and I do so many outrageous things that's probably my biggest obstacle that I have to face. But like I said, I don't let it penetrate me. It's almost like, these stars that are on, the crazy magazines, the rags they call them, the stuff they say about them. They don't even read them. They can't, because it's so negative and so ugly most of the time. And I've become the same way. I don't even pay attention to it. I don't read it. I don't look at it. I can't be bothered, because that's someone's opinion, and I don't really care. They don't feel me. They don't pay my bills. You know what I mean? So I encourage the general public to feel the same way. Someone's not happy with what you do, don't just wish them well and move on and do what makes you happy. We're all individuals. We all have choices, and you need to figure out which your choices make you happy and stay true to that. That's the best thing I can say.
Okay, that is just such fabulous advice. Now, something else that I kind of got in your message was that you have to surround yourself with people who can help you achieve what you're trying to accomplish, and you've got to learn from those people. And so it's you can't do everything alone. You need to have mentors. You need to have people you can talk to. You need to have people who can help you along in achieving your goals. And would you agree with that as well, Lauren?
Absolutely. I've got team powers in full force. It takes a team to run what I'm trying to do here. I can't do it by myself. Believe me, I've tried, and it's exhausting. So the more help and the learning how to delegate is another key to keep growing to the next level. And I'm working on that every day myself.
So we got, you got to have a team. You got to be surrounding yourself with the right people. You've got to be able to ignore the naysayers, the negativity. You've got to work on something that you're passionate about. And the final thing that I kind of get from you is you need to get yourself energized. It's not enough just to be passionate about something, but you've got to take action, and you're taking action on so many things. It always reminds me, my dad, when he was alive, and my dear father's long past, but I must have heard him say 20 times, somebody stole my idea. I thought about that 2 or 3 years ago. and one day I said to him, yeah, but Dad, you thought about all these ideas. You never did anything with any of them. So
that's right.
You got to take action. You got to, like the gunslinger, you got to pull the gun out of the holster and shoot at some point in time.
And that's where that taking risk comes in. You just have to just go for it, and the no matter what, even if it fails, you learn something and you just tweak things and then you make it better. And that's, I'm notorious for that. I just keep going. Nothing has stopped me through all these years. And I've done many, many things. I've sold all different products and worked for different companies. I realize I'm not a corporate person. I am totally 100% entrepreneur, have to be. I'm not used to, being told what to do. But that's good or bad, but it is what it is, and I use it to my advantage. So you just have to pull the trigger, do what, you got to just go for it. And that's really all I can say. And just try it.
Yeah. That's,
what's going to happen.
Wonderful advice. And just to wrap up here, I've been speaking today with Lauren Powers, 10-time heavyweight bodybuilding champion. She's an author, an entrepreneur, founder of the Lauren Powers Classic. Get her new book, Beneath the Muscle, Unleashing Your Inner Champion. You can find out more at laurenpowers.com. That's laurenpowers.com. Lauren, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Not a
pleasure.
problem.
And if you're out there, just go for it.
You've got it right from Lauren Powers. It's Mike Manahan, BizRap Radio, your host, and we will be back right after these messages. And welcome back to BizRap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan, and that was Lauren Powers, a bodybuilder extraordinaire. She's an amazingly accomplished woman. Just an absolute pleasure to talk to. But now, moving on with the show, let's talk about our good old friends at the Internal Revenue Service. Yes, they are at it again. The IRS seized $107,000 from a small business owner for making too many cash deposits. Yeah, you know what the rule is. If you deposit more than $10,000 in cash, your bank is required by the federal government to file a form with the authorities reporting the transaction. So what do people do? Well, the way to avoid that and the paperwork and the documentation is to deposit less than $10,000. But hold your ponies. That's not allowed either. Yes, you see, it is not legal to structure deposits in such a way that all of your deposits end up being under $10,000. So here's kind of the law. You got to fill out a bunch of paperwork and forms, and so does your bank if you deposit over $10,000 because the government's tracking you. But if you wisely, what you'd think it would be a wise thing to do, hey, I'll just get rid of all that administrative hassle. I'll make all of my deposits only $9,000. No. Now you're in trouble because you're structuring your deposits, and that's against the law. Well, this poor little guy in North Carolina, Lyndon McClellan, he runs a small convenience store out in rural North Carolina somewhere, and I guess a lot of his customers, they don't have credit cards, and they pay him in cash, and he trots over to the bank with his money and deposits it into the bank account. Well, the IRS just seized his entire bank account, $107,000. And, the only way for McClellan to get his money back is literally to hire attorneys and fight the IRS to get that money back. And I have heard that, you can spend tens of thousands of dollars trying to get that money back. It is just not easy. The IRS doesn't make it easy. And by the way, they can come and grab your bank account. They don't need to prove any wrongdoing. They don't need to prove that you were engaged in any manner of illegal activities. All they need to do is just monitor your bank account. And if they see, well, that guy's depositing a bunch of deposits that are just kind of under $10,000, $9,000 this week and $9,500 next week and $9,200 the week after, with no question of the business owner, why are your deposits that way? Why aren't you depositing more? Why aren't you depositing less? No, nothing required. The IRS just comes along based upon nothing more than their reviewing your bank records, which you would think should be confidential, but they're not. The government's looking at your bank records, and if they see those deposits, well, guess what happens? The IRS comes swooping in, takes your money, and you have basically very little recourse to get your money back. It's just absolutely criminal. This is the same IRS, by the way, that the head of the IRS can't find her emails, but they want you to be tracking your deposits. Wow. Something else. Okay, let's change the subject. Let's talk about labor laws. They really, the labor laws, I'm all for protecting laborers. Let's face it, we don't want to go back to the sweatshops and the workhouses they had 250 years ago at the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. But really, it has started to go too far. Here in the state of California, as an example, there is a specific law on the books, or set of laws on the books, that regulate working hours and breaks and lunch hours. And the way it works here in California is if somebody works a 4-hour period, at some point in time during that period, you've got to give them a break, 15-minute coffee break or rest break, whatever. And that's fairly standard. I think most employers give their employees some kind of a break anyway. In addition to that, if an employee works in a certain period of time, that employee is also entitled to a lunch break or a meal break. And again, it's all regulated by law, and that's only fair. I think most I'm pretty sure every employer gives their employees a lunch break. But you can run into problems with these laws if you're a small business person. Now, I know a lot of us small business people, we run shops, and sometimes your shop is running with only one person. Well, get this. You are allowed to require your employee, if the employee is by themselves in the shop, by law, you're allowed to require them to stay at the shop and to pay them for their lunch break. Now, they still are entitled to a lunch break. They take it, at the counter in between serving customers and things like that. But you do have to pay them for that lunch break. But here's the kicker, okay? This is called an on-duty meal period, and it is only permitted when the nature of the work prevents an employee from being relieved of all duty, and when there is a written agreement between the employer and the employee. So think about that. It's not just that you have a situation where, for instance, a store that only has one employee, and you can't obviously let the employee leave the premises or the store will shut down. But you must have a written agreement with the employee that, in fact, the employee agrees to this arrangement. And if you do not have that written agreement, well, you could be, what can I say, screwed. And hey, speaking of being screwed, I've got a gentleman that contacted me. He has a small shop. Very often in the shop, there is only one employee. He had a employee whom he recently terminated because the employee was engaged in some fraudulent activities. And yes, he had proof of the fraudulent activities. Well, the employee's gone for about a month, and all of a sudden he gets a letter from the California Labor Board. And guess what? The employee whom he terminated for fraud is now claiming about $25,000 in wages for basically lunches where the employee was taking lunch on the premises, and also for breaks, the employees claiming that the employer did not allow the employee to take breaks. Now, I talked to the employer at length and visited his shop and talked to some of his other staff members. Now, theirs is a kind of business where they can go an hour with no customers, and then all of a sudden they can have 5 customers at once. And so all the other people that work for this particular company, and the employer says, look, our policy is real simple. When there's customers here, you take care of the customers. When there's no customers here, go have a coffee, go have a smoke, what have you. If there's more than 2 people in the store, one of the people can leave for lunch, or do whatever else they want. If there's only one person in the store, that person can have lunch. They have to eat it in the store, and they do get paid for it. Now, that's the policy. Yet, this employee has gone to the labor board. Now, he's facing a $25,000 demand for wages. He believes he doesn't owe it, but I said, well, according to the labor law, you have to have an agreement with your employees. You have to have a written agreement that they agree to this kind of a schedule. He said, well, I don't have any written agreements. I mean, this is the way we've always operated the business. I mean, it's obvious. There's only one person in the store. You can't be shutting the store down to go off for lunch, and nobody's ever had a problem with it. And I pay them for the lunch anyway, and half the time I buy their lunch for them. But no, he's got a $25,000 demand from the labor board. He's now had to hire all sorts of attorneys, and those labor law attorneys, they charge a lot of money. At the end of the day, this is going to cost him a whole bunch, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Charges being brought by an employee who actually was fired for committing fraud. Here at BizRap Radio, we believe we can fix the United States of America through a fundamental concept that individuals pursuing their own economic interests in free markets will create more prosperity for more people than can ever be achieved through government regulation and a planned economy. BizRap Radio, fixing America through individual economic freedom. That's it for this week. We'll be back again next week with another edition of BizRap Radio.